Welcome to the Blessed Mindset Matters podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Raquel Tolson, and we're here at WYTV7 to empower, encourage, and educate. If you have been enjoying the Blessed Mindset Matters podcast, please do me a favor and go to www.wytv7.org and hit that donate button. Please, that money helps keep me on the air and all the other wonderful broadcasters. And we also feed families and we send children to school. Well, we send them with a little money to go to school. Anyway, so y'all know it's Raytober because October is just the stupidest month ever because October is the 10th month. Oct means eight. I think that's ridiculous that we're still calling it October and not Raytober. Anyway, because y'all know my birthday. You like that, Lakeba?
I love that.
October, Raytober is also known as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And my guest today is Lakeba Wallace. She is actually a breast cancer survivor, but that's not it. Let me just go down. There's a few things I know about her, and it's a few things that she didn't put on here, but magazine editor, author, realtor, radio and TV personality. You're doing something in the movies now. I can't remember what, but you working in the movies. You you helping families with legal stuff. You helping families with, I mean, whatever. You're the person, and you are one of those people, in my opinion, that and I know we talked about it before, but that jack of all trades, master of none. But the full quote is, though oftentimes better than a master of one, because it's much better to have somebody that knows a lot about something as opposed to a lot about everything, as opposed to somebody that knows a lot about one thing. Because because I'm like that too. Because we don't do this lightly. We don't just kind of hit and miss it. We learn about the things that we do. So we almost like a master for real in a lot of stuff. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
But you do so much. But tell us, we're going to start off. Let's start off because it's breast cancer awareness. So tell us how that was when you even first got the diagnosis.
Wow. I'll first say thank you so much for the opportunity to come on and share my testimony. I always love to do that anytime, but especially in October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I can remember so many years back when I was just having a regular day, just, chilling with my friends, and I began to have pain in my left breast. And I didn't really think I was out of town at the time, to be honest with you, just kind of relaxing. And I felt something, and I said, well, it's not nothing. I'll go back when I go back home. I'll go see my primary care doctor and see, hey, what's going on. I went to my primary care doctor, and he totally dismissed it. He said I was too young. I was 33 at the time. I was too young to even be considered for breast cancer. I had no risk factors whatsoever, and to be honest with you, I went on about my life for probably another year. And the pain began to get worse and worse. And at that time, I requested to see a breast surgeon. Went to the breast surgeon, had a mammogram. She looked at that mammogram and said, you have a suspicious lump and you need to be in surgery. And of course, at that time, I mean, I was busy as I am now. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna call y'all back in about 2 weeks. And she said, I don't think you understand this. You won't be calling nobody back in 2 weeks if you don't get in surgery. And so at that time, I still wasn't, I wasn't afraid. I still was, trying to do my business, handle my business, trying to pay my bills. And so my mom said, you really need to take care of this. And 2 days later, I was in surgery. And of course, stage 3 breast
Mm.
cancer already had spread to multiple lymph nodes. So I went through a lot: chemotherapy, radiation, multiple surgeries. And So I just encourage people, do not put your, and there's nothing, I'm not saying your primary care doctor is not the bomb.com, but put your health in nobody's hands. Make sure you get a second opinion, a third opinion, a fourth opinion, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're still on this earth to enjoy life and be that busybody that you know you always like to be.
Listen, so one of the things that you said that just will not let me pass by this is that you had a pain and
Yeah,
you went to the doctor. Let's just start there, people. Pain is always an indicator that something is wrong. Even if it's a muscle pain, it's an indicator that something is wrong. If it just means that you need to rest for a minute, but pain is an indicator that something is wrong. And so when you go to the doctor, because that obviously was a sharp enough pain, because we all deal with pain, especially women, we deal with pain. So something painful enough to take you to the doctor is probably something serious. And so it's very, very important that we pay attention to our bodies. God created our bodies phenomenally, phenomenally. And it said, hey, something ain't right.
right.
I am just so glad that that year that you waited after that doctor told you that nothing was wrong and they didn't send you for a mammogram. I'm so glad that that year did not cost you your life,
Yep, absolutely.
because that's not everybody's testimony. And like the when you went the second time and you were trying to wait, had you waited a year, you would not be here to tell us about this today.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
sometimes, as women, especially independent women, we can get so wrapped up in our careers and our day-to-day things that we really put our health on the back burner. We think about, I'm making six, seven figures, and I got to keep making that money to keep this lifestyle, not understanding that if you get breast cancer or any other type of illness, sickness, that you won't have no kind of lifestyle if you don't make sure that you take care of yourself. So I'm just grateful to have had a lot of people in my ear that cared about me. My breast surgeon, who was very persistent and said, "No, this is not going to wait 2 weeks. You're going to schedule an appointment before you leave this office, and within 48 hours, you're going to be in surgery." So I'm thankful for Dr. Karen Krisky. I'm thankful for my mom, who is no longer here, Mrs. Wallace, who basically said, "You got to get this done. I don't care what assignments you have. I don't care about the plane tickets you book. You need to cancel all of that and be in surgery within 48 hours."
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. Let me just write real quick. About 12% of women in the US will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. That's one in eight. And the only, because you said the doctor, you didn't have any, what is this? Not symptoms, but you, what's
Risk
the word?
factors.
Risk
He said I
factors.
had no risk factors.
Okay, so let me just let everybody know the only risk factor to get breast cancer is to have breasts.
Good point. Yeah.
So that's the only way. If you have breasts, me and I'm talking to you too.
Yeah.
If you have breasts, you have a risk for breast cancer. Period. Don't let people say it's, oh, well, you're not overweight, it's not in your family. But sir, I have breasts. That is the only thing that you have to have to get breast cancer. That's why some people taking them off. So
Yep.
they won't get them, because that's the only way you won't. I mean, not
Yep.
that the only way you won't, but that's the only way you don't have a risk for it. One
Correct.
in eight women, and that's just the women. They didn't use men, but one in eight women in the United States. That's a huge number, which makes me go back to knowing yourself and being comfortable with your breast examinations, self breast examinations. It's, come on now, is people think that, oh, you it's a sexual thing with you. No, when you're in the shower and you're bathing, you should be checking for
Right.
anything that doesn't feel right. Right?
Absolutely.
You're
That
educated.
was the
What else do you share with people?
Absolutely. And you really touched on something very important because that's how I, the pain, of course, I started having the pain. And when I did a self examination, I felt a lump, so I had a lump and pain, but still, my primary care doctor dismissed all of that. Again, no risk factors, but women, men, you have to make sure that you are in tune with your body because we have great doctors, we have great physicians, we have great primary care doctors, we have great breast surgeons, but nobody is going to know your body better than you. I cannot tell you because had I not felt a lump and had some pain, I wouldn't have never, I get my regular examinations. My doctor would have continued to dismiss it because it's just a regular checkup, instead of me going in and saying, hey, I'm having some pain, I'm having some issues. You have
Yeah,
to make sure that you communicate what is different, what is abnormal for you. And nobody knows that but you. Nobody knows that on the 15th of every month I get pain. That may be normal for you, but it may be abnormal for somebody else, so
yeah,
you have to make sure that you are in tune with your body. I can remember even after my primary care doctor said you have no risk factors, probably I would say right around the 11th month, I would say my breast felt like it was on fire, like just on fire. And of course, you schedule an appointment, and just about that 12th month, that's when I knew something was wrong because here I am with my breast feeling like fire. I'm having pain in my breast. Something is not right. And I
yeah,
had no pain under my arm whatsoever, even though the breast cancer had already spread under my right arm. I had no pain in my arm whatsoever. It was all in my breast. But I had to know what was abnormal for me in order
yes,
to communicate that to a physician to say, hey, this is not normal. Something's not right here. Because you're going to have some pain sometimes when your menstrual come on. That
yes,
could be normal for some women, but if it's abnormal for you, you have to communicate that to your physician so they will know, okay, these are some risk factors or some signs and symptoms that may equate to breast cancer or some other manner of sickness, illness, or disease.
right, right. Before we get off of this, because we definitely got to talk about all the stuff that you got going on. But I do
Right.
have to say this as a person who sells living benefits life insurance. Let me just say, every woman out there, really, because you have the 1 in 8 chance of getting breast cancer, I really think that everybody needs to make sure you have a living benefits life insurance policy because you can use that policy if you get a stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 diagnosis. You can use take your benefits early, accelerate your benefits, and use them. Because let me just say, if you got to go through all the stuff that she just said that she went through, do you need to go to work? Do you need to be worried about how your bills gonna be paid? Do you need to worry about how you go, if you want to go and seek a treatment that's not covered under your health insurance? It makes sense. It makes sense. I don't know if you have one, but tell the people, would it have helped if you had an insurance company sends you $100,000 or more to help you deal with what you were going through?
Absolutely. I did not have that. I wish I would have been more educated to know that because I went from making high six figures down to Medicaid and a EBT card. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I did not have the wisdom at that time. So I was fortunate to have family members that were able to, sustain me financially. But still, there were things that they couldn't do. I was a single parent with two children. I had to, make ends meet. So I applied for Medicaid. Having no income, I qualified, and having no income, I qualified for food stamps. So if I had the
Yes,
living benefits, then it would have been a different scenario for me.
right. And with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about all the stuff that Lakeba has going on. We'll be right back.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you're a woman who's been impacted by this illness, you welcome the focus and the opportunity to learn more. I'm Carol Laurie. I am a naturopath, acupuncturist, and homeopath. And the focus of my clinical practice in my online community is to provide women, such as yourself, with the natural and integrative tools so you can get through treatment with reduced side effects and then move on to recover your health and know that you are doing everything possible to prevent your current recurrence. I've developed an online group coaching program, Empowered Against Recurrence. And during the month of October, I'm offering this at a reduced fee because I want all of you to have these natural and integrative tools to make them part of your life. So in the middle of the night, when there's that little voice that shows up and says, what if it comes back? You know that you're doing everything possible, taking the medical oncology with the natural and integrative science-backed tools to reduce your risk of recurrence. You can learn all about my upcoming program by going to www.empoweredagainstrecurrence.com. I hope to see you at one of my free classes offered throughout the month of October. This is Carol Laurie signing off for now. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and there'll be more later. Take care, everyone.
Welcome back. So before we get into everything that Lakeba has going on, I do want to reiterate what she just said. She went from making six figures to needing welfare because she didn't have a living benefits policy. So if you're out there and you're curious about a living benefits policy, go to my website, www.raykeltolson.com. That's RAYKELTOLSON.com. And you can learn more about living benefits, and you can call me or send me an email or something, and we will talk about that because it's very, very, very important. Okay, so Lakeba, let's start off with Living Day by Day magazine because I am a contributing writer. So tell us, why did you start that?
Oh my God, that is such a great question. And, I always say God is so good because I started it as a result of breast cancer. And here we are talking about breast cancer. So I can remember when I was going through breast cancer, it was a trying time for me. And I clearly heard God say, I am going to take you around the world and you're going to tell people how to get through breast cancer and other illnesses as they live day by day. And that's how Living Day by Day was birthed. And when God first spoke it to me, I really didn't know. I didn't have the magazine at the moment. I started off Living Day by Day podcast. I was on Blog Talk Radio, and then God began to speak to me again and say, "Hey, it's time for you to take it up to another level. I want everything that you do on the radio to be a spinoff of what you're doing in the magazine." And that's how the whole Living Day by Day platform started. I began to start going and sharing my testimonies just as I'm doing it here on your podcast. And before I know it, I had another talk show on a terrestrial station in Orlando. And then, of course, here in the Atlanta area. But it all stemmed from going through and coming out of breast cancer. So I enjoy going around the world and just really encouraging women and men about how they can live through what they're going through day by day, not second by second, because sometimes we need to get through a day to get to the next day.
That's so interesting because I talk about mindset a lot here. That's why I added mindset matters to the title of the podcast because what you basically said, you didn't have oh, I'm sick and I went my salary went from here to here, woe is me. You're like, nope. Even though, we hope that everybody will go through and be like, oh, I'm still here, still alive. But that's not necessarily the case for people. But you not only were like, oh, I'm glad I'm here, but you're like, let me do something else. Let me use this and turn it into something else. Because, even though you like God told you to do that, but how many times God speaks to all of us and some of us just be sitting around doing nothing on what he told us. And then you're talking about you came out of the illness and you like, okay, let me start doing what God told me to do. And you did it. That is commendable. And thank you because it gives me a place to write. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to do an article.
Well, I'm so excited to know that you are a contributor and that you have been supporting the Living Day by Day magazine for so many years, and it's really refreshing to have some very great, awesome writers such as yourself. But I often tell people when they say, "How's your magazine going?" It's not like I can stop. I said this is not a regular magazine. This magazine has some oil on it. It has some power behind it. It has some godly wisdom behind it. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I think I'm going to do a magazine. No, I have paid the price for Living Day by Day magazine. So even if somebody else gives up on it, I can never give up on what brought me out because just doing that magazine, it kept my mind off what I was going through. And
Mhm.
I began to write about different stories about what other women were going through with breast cancer. So it really helped me because I know God didn't want me and he does not want other people to really, just bask and sit in your issues. You got to learn how to get out of that mud. You got to learn how to cross that bridge. You got to learn how to keep on walking, even if you fall down, even if you get a bad report. You got to be able to get the strength, the power that God gives us to be able to overcome and get through the issues that I don't care who you are, where you live, what your zip code, what kind of car you drive. Nobody cares. We all go through issues. There is nobody that is free of issues, and God wants us to be able to know that He gives us the power and the strength to overcome all things.
That is so, oh my God, that is so wise and that is so awesome. And that, and like, I wholeheartedly believe that that's the whole thing I've been telling people about just making a decision to be blessed.
Yeah,
It's like God has given us everything, everything that we need is inside of us. And if it's
yeah,
not inside of us, let me just say that because some people say, well, because we do need people and God will put something that we need maybe in somebody else. And that's all we have to be connected to people. We cannot be in this box and think that we can be all alone because sometimes some of the things that we need will be in other people. And so, but I wholeheartedly believe that it's not something that's coming from above, y'all. It's something that's coming from within
yeah.
because it's already there. We just have to walk in our power. We have to believe that we have the power that God has given us all the strength, all everything that we need to do, it's already in us. Now we can pray. We should pray so we can, get built up and get that confidence and that courage. But it's here. It's here. And sometimes it takes some bad things to happen for it to bring it out. It's just like how they say with the diamonds, it takes pressure to make the diamond. And
Yep,
sometimes that happens. But I'm praying. I'm praying that it doesn't, that we don't have to deal with cancer, that we don't have to deal with death in the family. But we
it happens.
probably gonna have to deal with something. If it's not cancer, it may be diabetes. If it's not diabetes, it could be, bad arthritis. I
Yep,
mean, it could be anything that could make you say, "Oh, I can't do this. I don't have the power. I don't have the strength." But we have to pull it up, pull it up. Don't you think?
absolutely. You have to, I mean, the Bible tells us that, God gives us the power. So he's already given it to us. He gives us the power to get wealth. And I think oftentimes people don't realize that wealth is just not riches. Wealth
Mm,
is for you to be able to live a healthy lifestyle. And a healthy lifestyle is you making sure that you have the money that you need. You are living a life where not just, you're eating the right things,
right.
you have healthy relationships, that's wealth. There's not a amount of money that can really equate to having a healthy friendships and healthy relationships
Mm,
and being
girl, preach on
healthy
it.
environments. That's all wealth. That is all wealth because you can have all the money in the world and have raggedy relationships, be in a raggedy marriage, have raggedy friends, I tell you. So to me, I've learned to understand that word wealth because sometimes we think if we only have $5 in the bank that we're not wealthy. Now we all want money in the bank. I'm not dismissing that because
Right.
it takes money in order for you to be able to live and pay your bills. But if you get your mind on just being able to be in a wealthy place at all times, that
Mm.
means have your mind stayed on good things. The Bible
Yes.
tells us to think on those things that are pure, not those things that are, bad and things that, that makes you unhappy and makes you, to the point to where you're sad. You want to be
Yes.
able to wake up every day with a wealthy mind, with a
Yes.
wealthy
Oh my
mind.
gosh. Yes.
You
I
have to.
love what you're talking right now, girl. I love what you're talking right now.
To
Ooh,
God be
that's
the
so
glory.
good. Wealth mindset, y'all. We went from breast cancer, now we talking about wealth. We only got 5 minutes, but I have to share this, y'all. When we talking, she said wealth is not just money. Y'all, I was unemployed for 2 years. It didn't stop nothing. God was still blessing. I was still living in the house. I ended up buying another car. I was getting another car. Why? I mean, going on trips, all of this stuff, y'all. Because wealth, it really is a mindset also, and
Yes.
it's just being happy and being and having wealthy relationships. When my friends are like, "You want to go do this?" I have people send me money. They're like, here, I just wanted to bless you. I don't ask for people to send me no money, but I'm not going to send it back. Thank you so much. It's real. It's real. Before we go, Lakeba, how can they find the Living Day by Day magazine and all the other stuff that you're doing?
Awesome. It's always important to brand. So livingdaybyday.net. The magazine is Living Day by Day. The show is Living Day by Day, and the website is livingdaybyday.net.
All right. And the show, when does the show on?
Okay, the show is airing every Monday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mega Atlanta Radio. If you are ever in the Norcross or the Atlanta area, we invite you to come down and be a guest on the Living Day by Day show, or you can just catch us online again at Mega Atlanta Radio, and that's on Facebook Live and also on their streaming app as well.
All right. All right. Thank you. So I wish we had more time because you got so much going on and we didn't get to talk about it, but we had to talk about breast cancer. So we're gonna have to bring you back to talk about some other stuff that's going on later on in the year.
Okay.
I appreciate you so much. Everybody out there listening to my voice, or if you're watching this, please, please, if you are a female and you have not made your appointment yet for a mammogram, please do so now. October or Raytober is a great month to make your appointment in. But if you didn't already make it, it may be too late to get in this month, but make it today, make your appointment. And when you're in the shower, self examine, self examine, very, very important. And reach out to me if you want to know more about living benefits. Until next week, everyone, be blessed.